Welcome to Beneath the Surface, a space where clinical insight meets holistic healing. I'm Joplin Monique, a holistic coach and consultant. I'm joined by Lasonna Claxton, a licensed professional counselor. Together, we explore the emotional layers beneath our everyday lives, from personal healing to family patterns and the systems that shape us. Alrighty, ma'am. So today we are talking about our inner child and how we can go about reparenting ourselves if we are doing inner child healing. So, Miss Lasana, I know that this is something that kind of started in a therapeutic sense, and then the work that I do kind of shifts over into the intuitive side of the house as usual. So, can
Right here.
yes, ma'am. So, can you tell us more on the therapeutic side, like the inner child concept, or what the inner child is, or the healing of the inner child? What does that look like from a therapeutic standpoint?
Okay. Well, in therapy, when we talk about the inner child, that represents the emotional and psychological aspects of a person that were formed during childhood, their early memories, emotions,
Hmm.
learned coping skills, defense patterns, the childlike qualities of curiosity, playfulness, creativity. So when we're working with the inner child, we want to recognize and validate early emotional wounds because we feel like some of the things that our children are experiencing or that we experienced
Hmm.
as a child, it spilled over, it carried over with us because it didn't get processed as a child. So now we have these feelings of neglect, shame, rejection, and fear. We want to increase the self awareness, learning how to reparent ourselves and heal from
Hmm.
things that I don't really think our parents knew. They
Right.
were just going off of how their parents parented them, not really knowing that we needed something different or each child, each generation needs something different.
Exactly. Exactly. And that leads into the work that I do on on the intuitive front, the spiritual front, because through my work, the lens is it's going back and bringing back the pieces and the spirit, the innocence of yourself that was lost or silenced or frozen when you were a child. And so in the intuitive space, the inner child is a living energy that is always a part of who you are. And we see that in some adults, but then some adults we're told, oh, you act too childish and things of that sort. But when you see an adult outside playing or swinging or on a roller coaster, that's their inner child coming out like, yes, this is fun. I used to love doing this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so, from an intuitive framework, the inner child is always a part of who you are. But when that inner child is wounded, they are
Mm,
still a part of who you are.
mm,
And that is what we're talking about today is that wounded inner child, but how can we get back to that light living energy of our inner child that just brings us back into a place of love and joy, curiosity,
mm-hmm.
innocence. I know that when I had my son, that was a start for me for the work that I was
Wow.
doing because that was the
Mm-hmm.
innocence in my face. And so being his mother made me be like, okay, what did I like? I have to get in not character, but it's like I have to get back down to, his level. So let me remember these things. And then God started bringing in people from my past who represented different parts of my inner child. and all these parts resurfaced, and it was really like a soul retrieval, bringing back all the parts that I completely forgot about underneath the bills.
Oh my gosh.
Underneath the bills and the stress and the work.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's a real thing. It's a real thing. And
And
so go ahead.
I'm sorry, because you got me all stirred up now. I'm feeling some things, and some thoughts are happening because I'm thinking about some of the things, not just that I share with my clients, but things that I've experienced personally and that I see happening in our community today and in our family, my family of origin. Because yes, I'm a therapist,
Mhm.
but I'm a person first.
Yes, ma'am.
Therapy is what I do. But as a person, I definitely have experienced some things. I have a clearer understanding, some things that I didn't have a clear understanding about as a child or even as I parented my daughter. One of
Mm.
the things that we tend to do, and I know you're going to be able to testify, girl, to some of
Yes,
these things.
ma'am.
One of the things that we tend to do with our children is we put them in situations where they have to be, they can't be a kid.
Mm. Whoa.
You too old for that. You too
Mhm.
big for that.
Mhm.
Why are you doing that?
Mhm.
And I'm remembering all the things that were said to me and all the things that I learned to say. What would your dad say if you were doing that? And I'm like, oh my God,
Mhm.
what was wrong with these people who were supposed to be adults
Mhm.
and they were supposed to guide
Mhm.
me as a child while allowing me to embrace childhood.
Right.
It should
Right.
not have always been, okay, yeah, I'm 12, but I want to skip in the house. I don't know why I want to skip in the house, but I just do. Or I'm just 12. But just because I'm double digits, does that mean that I no longer want to skip? Or does
Mhm.
that mean that I'm no longer going to do something that I did when I was 11
Right.
or 9?
Right.
It doesn't mean that.
Right. Right.
And we tend to, I remember psychologist that was working with me, supervising me as I started my journey years ago, back in 2009. He did supervision with a group of us. And one of the things that he said is that you don't ever want to ask a child why
Mm.
when there's a behavior happening. We tend to say, well, why did you do that? And even if we don't say it with that tone, why did you do that? It automatically sends the message that I wasn't supposed to do that.
And to
I,
me, though, it switches your brain to a logical standpoint. So instead, like children, normally I see the things that children do are from how they feel. And when we start something as simple as asking why, like you just said, it
Mhm.
makes you start thinking of, well, why did I do that? And you're going down a
Mm.
logical mindset other than,
Mhm.
I don't know, I felt like it. I
And if
felt
I said that,
like it. Right.
then I'm in trouble.
There you go. There you go. So that turns into a systemic and a generational issue because we are parentifying children.
Mm. Mm.
Children come
But
out of the womb thinking that
mm.
they need to, keep their parents comfortable. No,
Ah, girl, I
no,
think this gonna be a part two. This
it
this
don't have
probably
to.
gonna yeah, this gonna have to be a part two. Cause you're dropping jewels, sis. You're dropping jewels because when you said what you said,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
then what that leads to now I've become the adult. If we don't course correct,
Mm.
that second guesses myself.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
I
ma'am.
second guess myself. I don't trust the decisions that I make. I'm always asking someone else, you think you like this color?
There you go.
Do you think I should do this? When all along, you know, you like black, girl, like black.
There you go.
But you had somebody say or question, well, why you like black? Because I
Right.
like black is beautiful.
Right. Right.
But we have questioned, and I don't know if I don't want to blame parents, but I blame them
Mm.
for
Yes.
not being well informed about child development.
Right.
And then it takes me to, were they not well informed because the information wasn't available? Because hey, I was born in the 70s, so you know I'm a little
Mm-hmm.
aged. So was it not available, or what may have been going on with our parents? Is this the way that their parents raised them, asking them, well, why?
Well, I think, and this is just my thought, I feel like as most of our people in the Black and Brown communities, they were, and most of them still are, in survival mode. So
Mm,
who has time to worry about your intuition? Who has time to cater to your creativity? Who has time to see what kind of gifts God has
mhm,
put in you if it
mhm,
does not benefit our family in
mhm,
any kind of way? Who has
mhm,
time for that? Because I
mhm,
need to pay these bills. I
mhm,
need I need you to hush. I'm stressed. I need
mhm,
you to do all these things. And that was something, that was a
mhm,
program, and I call it a program, but that was a limited belief that I had to get out of as well, because that led me, that survival mechanism, being raised in that, led me to being a perfectionist.
mm,
So now I know how to say all the right things. I know how to do all the right things. I know how to make everyone around me happy except
mm.
for me.
Because
It's
my feelings are not, they're not important.
There you go. There you go. And as for me, like going during my healing journey, what I've been doing it like extensively for the past couple of years, and more recently when my son was born, after I went through postpartum depression, that was it. That was a light switch. And when he was diagnosed with autism, that was a light switch for me to tap back into the side that had to feel rather than the side that had to think. And so I do feel that that was a part, my son awakened a part of my inner child, because that was little Joplin who felt through things. Might be
Mhm,
tears that came out because of it, but I felt everything. And he made me realize, like, Mama, I can't speak because he is nonverbal. I can't
mhm,
speak. So now you're going to have to feel my energy
mm,
and tell me what I need,
mm,
or translate my energy is how I
mhm,
put it now. And so it we're shifting, and this is a time of shifting. We are
mhm,
shifting from being logic, strategy based, to being intuition based,
mhm,
feeling based,
mhm,
heart centered, soul led based.
mhm,
And because the old way isn't working anymore, and we're losing too many people because of it, you know?
mhm. I want to ask you a question. When you said you had to feel his energy, I think it'd be a good idea for you to tell the people how do you do that? What is that like?
Well, to give a little bit of backstory, my son is autistic nonverbal, but his mama also is neurodiverse. I believe I have some neurodiversity within me, but
Mhm,
I always say that, I'm a HSP, which is a highly sensitive person. So I have always had the gift of being able to feel other people's emotions. What would happen is that it created such a stir in me that I suppressed those emotions. And the only way that I could ground myself back into my body was with food. And so I would try to push those emotions, that energy that I was feeling, and I would feel it in my body. So when I say I feel emotions, I can feel it in my gut. Sometimes God will just, drop something to me, and then all of a sudden I know it. It it's tapping into my relationship with God. And that's why I say, like, with my son, he was the opening to all of that, because I had to pull out the archives, as my friend says. I had to go back to the root of who Joplin is, not just who Joplin was taught to be, to raise this child. And so, especially alone as a single mother. And so
Mhm.
when it comes to me tapping into how he feels, I pay attention. And I was partly taught this by trauma, but I pay attention to his expressions. I pay attention to his behavior. I pay attention to, like, the different his nonverbal cues. I pay attention to it.
I love that because
Mhm.
as you're talking and sharing
Mhm.
about your attentiveness
Mhm.
and your sensitivity to
Mhm.
people's energy,
Mhm.
it makes me ask the question, shouldn't that be what all parents are doing?
But if you still caught in survival, and that's, to me, like we just talked about, our families, our generations of families, they pretty much thought similarly. But I do think that it's bigger than just our families. I feel like it, like I said,
Mhm.
it's a systemic issue.
Love
We
that. Yes.
we make, as a country, we put the focus on what you do, what you produce, how much you make, who you are, your reputation, more on how you feel, who your inner child is, your energy. So we put a lot of energy and put a lot of, just a hard hand on produce, produce, produce. And
Mhm.
that's who society tells us to be. And so some parents have to pick between, do I produce materially or do I produce emotionally? What we are trying to do, and what I'm trying to do in live time as a mother to a very sensitive child, is figure out that balance, because it's really not one or the other. It's really not producing materially or emotionally. And sometimes that means putting myself to the side to pay attention to the needs, the emotional needs of my child, and making sure that we have an environment that grounds both of us, because there's a lot of overstimulated parents as well who don't know how to ground themselves.
Mm. Oh, this is good. This is wonderful.
And I'm sorry to go there, but I identify as one of those parents. And his birth, oh my, his birth just changed everything for
Mhm.
me. And I spent a lot of time apologizing for it, but I had to make
Mhm.
some changes to ensure that we both were okay. And it turned out that the things that were good for him was also good for me.
Ah, I love that. This
Mhm.
is an amazing introduction to, um,
Yes.
just that inner child,
Yes.
uh, that's speaking that you did not, you needed something and you did not get it. And it may not necessarily have been a my parent thing
Right.
all by itself, but also systematic and
Mhm.
systemic.
Yes.
And I just like, oh my God,
Mhm.
this is good. This is good. Okay.
Yes,
Hmm.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So it pulls us back, and I, with the healing of the inner child, I just feel like it's very important for us to pull back those different pieces into who we really are at our core. And if you find that wholeness through your children, however you find that wholeness, that's
Hmm.
that's the route. That's the route, because there's too many broken people that do broken things, and
Hmm.
it's hurting us as a community. It's hurting us. It really is.
Hmm. Yeah.
So before we sign off for session 1, did you have any closing remarks for the people, Miss Lasonna?
Man, I think I'm just gonna save mine for the
Mhm.
next session for
Got
part 2
Gotcha.
because this just touched the surface. It's only the tip of the iceberg.
Yes, ma'am. Well, we will go ahead and pause it there. If you found something helpful in today's episode, we love for you to subscribe and leave us a comment. We'll see you next time as we continue exploring what lies beneath the surface.